Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 22 of What If Naruto Had Cosmic Energy. Remember to share to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was a legendary neglected Uzumaki over an anime king, and enjoy that guys. And I also post a brand new episode of What If Naruto was neglected and lost everything over an anime king too. And if you're new, yes, you heard that correctly. I have 3 channels, Anime King, Anime King 2, and Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, with this we begin this new episode. Start the intro. So the last time we left off, the girls were currently relaxing a wonderful day at the hot springs. Temari was at Konoha as well. She had spent a couple of months with Naruto when he had came to the Hidden Sand, as Jiraiya and him decided to stop there for their training trip. The 3 years has passed. Temari still wouldn't tell the girls what happened there when she was with Naruto, but she always flushed when she talked about him in the previous years. All of them had grown, all of them. Tsunade had started back her medical program, given the fact that she was now the Hokage. Back in the war period, they couldn't spare any funds, but now they could. Not to mention Naruto had given her the sizable fund of all of Orochimaru bounties, which she used to fund the medical program. Even though the village had the sum to do it, she decided to just do it on her own. Besides, Orochimaru bounty was a lot from all the nations that wanted the man dead. As all of the girls was in Tsunade's medical program, some of them took it farther than usual, as Tsunade taught most of them her superhuman strength, including Sakura. Even Hinata was in the fray as well. Hinata was trying to mix it with her current fighting style, as Hinata has grown a lot over the past couple of years. Teiwai as well, who had become a Jonin. Naruto has been sending back a lot of letters back to them, given the fact that Rimuru could fly at incredible speeds and head back to the village anytime he wished with a letter from Naruto. So the girls had been in contact with him the entire time. They couldn't wait until he returned, but he was not the only one coming, as Sasuke Uchiha also made his way to the village. Sasuke has been pushing himself for the past 3 years. He had been pushing himself non-stop so that he can get as strong as possible when the time comes for him to finally face off against Itachi. Tsunade was kind of pissed because of the things Naruto has been doing in the past couple of years. Not to mention Taki wanted to start a war against him, but that was stopped. So she will have to wait until Naruto arrived for she to hear the full truth about it. And people were calling Naruto Kami. They were literally going out of their way to call him literal god, as that was just surprising. All in all, he was still a ninja, so for people to be literally calling him god, you must understand how powerful he has gotten. As we skip to the man, one and only Naruto Uzumaki, who has grown. The years were kind on him, wondered if so, as Naruto was with a young girl. It was none other than Fu, who had taken happily to join the Uzumaki clan, as he was the one that rescued her from that hellhole that was Taki, as the girl enjoyed spending time with him. She was a fun-loving going girl, showing as much as when they entered Konoha, she kissed Temari, as all of them were going to be a part of the same family. But that didn't mean she had to kiss Temari, she was just that way. She didn't really know personal space, given her background, which was really sad. As all of the girls were excited to see Naruto, all of them wanted to spend time with him, even Teiwaya. The letters that they had been exchanging, the girl had came to realize that Naruto was different from everyone else that she ever met, Orochimaru included, as he was the one to finally got rid of the damn snake though. And he was just lovable. All of them came to see that. But before Naruto could sit down or even relax, Tsunade dragged him towards the council area where all of them were waiting on him, as he saw insignia for the Uzumaki symbol. For the past couple of weeks, Haku has been the one taking care of the seat there, as she was Naruto first in command given the fact that she was the first other than him to join the Uzumaki clan there. So she has been keeping the seat warm for him, as an advisor of a sorts. As Naruto sat down, as the clans wanted to know about the 7-tail holder and what the hell happened with Take, Danzo was furious as Naruto was already a Jinchuriki. Having him get another Jinchuriki was something not advised. Yes, that would just make the Uzumaki clan too much more powerful. But when Naruto told them the sum that he paid for the girl, even though it made him feel bad saying that he had to pay for her, like she was some kind of object, they were shocked. Where the hell did he even get so much money? And what he did in Take, that further shocked them. Not to mention he also revealed that he was no longer a Jinchuriki. But Konoha was in no danger of getting attacked. They were still, well, adamant on knowing about that, but it didn't seem like Naruto was gonna explain. So yeah guys, it was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So to begin this new episode. We begin this new episode at the Hidden Rain as a swirl of vortex, and the man calling himself Madara Uchiha was gone, leaving Konan and Nagato in the room. Nagato, who was currently using Yaiko's body, the Tendo pain, to move around, given that his current condition was not something favorable that he could use at the moment. The man looked out at the rain that was pelting on the window, calming. For these people to go as far as to refer to him as a god, it seems they don't understand what a true god is. If one would hear this, it sounds like Nagato was rather jealous of Naruto and his new name, and people calling him Kami. Not the Kami of Shinobi World or anything like that. They were just calling him Kami. A higher level of respect, like he was a literal god. Konan seemed bothered by something though, as Nagato took note of that. She's been his closest friend for years now, and he knew when she was trouble. What is wrong? Oh, I'm fine, she said. Konan, I know when you're lying. Tell me, what is wrong? He asks. Konan sighed. He's different, she said. Nagato narrowed his eyes as he looked towards her. The Yaiko path did not give off so many much emotions, but the real Nagato face was. Meaning, he asks. Over the past 3 years, he has done nothing but good. Konan had saw it first-hand flashback 2 years ago, as Naruto was surrounded by people, a lot of them cheering. Houses, thousands of houses were built in less than a couple of hours. For the remote people that didn't have a home, many people in the nations were still suffering because of some bad deals or something, or their nations being taken over by criminals. Yet, this man, who everyone came to call Kami, that is how his name spread. After all, he must be Jesus. Some kind of God walking around, spreading blessings everywhere he went. He healed the sick. He helped the poor. He was nothing more than a blessing. Konan had been advised to recruit a new member of the Akatsuki. When she came across him, she was surprised to see the Kyuubi Jinchuriki out here without Jiraiya. So she stood and watched. She didn't see when he built the houses. She arrived on time to see when the people cheering. From everything, she could take in the assessment of what he did. His head turned as she flew back in the trees. Did he sense her? But his face still had that jovial smile on it, as he didn't seem to be basking in the glory. He was just genuinely happy that he helped these people. That was rare these days. In the flashback, Tendo said nothing. Over the past 3 years, he has been going around doing nothing but goodness. Out of his heart, a sign of just for the world. Thousands of people who had been orphans, people who have been suffering, now have a roof over their head and equipments to help them in their life. I know the plan is to gather all the Bijus, but if we go after him, we're gonna have to kill him after the 9-tail extraction. And because of all this good, Konan, the man snapper from our talking, it is necessary for the world. We need to do this in order to bring peace, but he's already... This is not peace, Konan, what he's doing. He might be helping a few people here and there. Konan didn't say exactly how much people he was helping, because not even she knew, when Nagato was trying to lowball it. But over the past 3 years, Naruto has helped millions. Literally millions. As that was the reason why people call him Kami. Not because of destructive power or godly power he used to kill people. It was because of his genuine, kind nature. And what Konan saw in him was the same thing that the Akatsuki was before. The same thing that the Aiko wanted to do for the Rain. But instead Naruto was doing it for the entire populations. We have come too far. And too much time of planning to desert our plan now. You've always have trust in me. Do not tell me that you've lost hope. Of course not, she said. Well then, forget about him. When the time comes, just like the others, he will be taken down for the sacrifice of peace. Seeing what Naruto was doing and comparing to the Akatsuki plannings, Konan felt torn, as she didn't know which one of them was right anymore. Helping millions in just 3 years, or causing millions of death to make people bow down by a supernatural weapon. Konan wasn't so sure at all, but she kept that to herself. Meanwhile, at Konoha, council chambers, as Naruto was still sitting there, Danzo spoke up. You have certainly become strong over the couple of years. But do you expect us to believe that you took on the entire population force, Shinobi force of Taki, and came out without much of a scratch? Danzo knew that Naruto was powerful, and he was just baiting him to see if he has any other tricks up his sleeve that Danzo wanted to exploit. But Naruto merely smiled. Yes, that was all he said. Well, if you don't believe me, as Naruto turned towards Jiraiya. He's not lying, Jiraiya said. He took out all of them. What makes you think that Shibuki stopped threatening Konoha for war? Although he wouldn't do it. It was just an idle threat. But still, that's just beyond amazing, said Tatsumi. You're the same age group as my son, and yet you're able to wipe out the entire village. I've been to Taki before, and their ninjas are nothing to scoff at. Not that powerful, but still, there's so much of them. I'm not too ashamed to say that I could even stand up against all of them. But you, she said. Naruto merely shrugged it off. But that still doesn't account for something, Aya, she said. Oh, what's that, said Naruto. What happened to all the money that you gave them? As Naruto's face turned a bit angry. Those people deserve nothing, said Naruto. They put that girl through so much. As Naruto's fist clenched tight. All because of something she didn't have any control over. And it's not my fault that they didn't keep a good eye on the money, for it to just vanish. Tatsumi laughed as she got what he was implying, as the others got it as well. Well, there is still the fact of putting the Jinjulki, and where she must end up, said Danzo. I think that she must be trained to be used for the goodness of. The room became cold. So cold in fact they could see their breath. As Jiraiya narrowed his eyes towards Naruto, as Natty looked towards her hand and released her breath as she saw it, as the degree just dropped. Danzo could feel the chills going into his bone. I suggest you watch your words. She's not some kind of mindless weapon, so don't speak to her as such. Her name is Fu. Address her properly next time, said Naruto. Naruto, said Snatty. As everything returned back to normal, all of the clan heads' eyes were on Naruto. That chilling presence. As Haku placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Suddenly, there was a purple glow, a small one, as a head peeped out of Naruto's open jacket. Tatsumi blinked as she looked at the small fox. Rimuru looked around before he headed back inside. As Tatsumi was confused, she looked at Naruto's shirt hard. She saw him looking at her. She turned away a bit embarrassed, as it would seem like she was staring at his chest, but she was not. The reason was, where the hell did he go? She had to ask. Where is it, she asked. Oh, he went inside, said Naruto. She blinked. That still didn't explain anything. That little fox a moment ago just came out of his jacket, and yet the jacket is open up, so there was no space inside to hide, and that was too big to be inside the jacket. She was confused. As much as you intend to be a good person when it comes towards Fu, said Danzo, addressing the girl by her name, she still is a powerful asset that control the third powerfulest bijou. So it's beneficial for the village if she is properly trained how to control her powers. Well, okay then, said Naruto. If you can scarf over all the money that I paid. He didn't like to say that word. She can make her decision, said Naruto. Danzo's eyebrow twitched at that. The money had been missing from Taki Vault. Well, I still paid it, said Naruto. And that isn't from the village. That's out of my clan. So, if you don't have that, I don't see any way you can say any otherwise. And by the way, she wants to stay with me. That's because you're the only one she comes to know. I'm sure if we have a talk with her, it will be beneficial. Naruto raised his hand, silencing the man, as Danzo's eye twitched at that. Why the hell did he actually go silent? Can you call Fu in, please? Said Naruto as he looked towards Navi. Navi looked towards Anvu, who nodded. A moment later, Fu came in the room as she saw all eyes on her. She became a bit nervous, but she made her way beside Naruto. She didn't like to be usually around large crowds like these. No, groups with people with so much power. It was like she was in Taki again, with the council members all accusing her and telling her what to do. Fu, said Navi. Fu nodded as she turned towards Hokage. We are just discussing your situation inside of Konoha, and we would like to know. Excuse me, Hokage-sama, she said. Yes? It's Fu Uzumaki. That's my full name. Navi smiled at that as she looked towards the old geezer. Well, I think that is enough evidence already. And besides, as Naruto said, if you don't have the funds to pay him back, something that he took out of his own pockets and not from Konoha, I don't see you having any right to suggest any otherwise. Unless the other clan members wish to pay that money to have the girl placed in your clan. Navi knew that despite everything, none of them had that kind of money that they would just fork over right away without putting a dip in their reserves. A large dip. And not to mention, this girl didn't seem like she wanted to leave Naruto's side at all. So you adopted her in your clan before you even spoke to us, said Shikaku. Before Naruto could say anything, Fu spoke. Yes. And I'm gonna be Naruto-kun's wife, she said, as the others blinked and looked towards her. Well, they should have expected that much. Well, Shikaku sighed. I guess there is no other reason to keep this meeting going. We have already sorted out the other issues. So, Hokage-sama, can we put this meeting to an end? Navi nodded. Gladly, she said, if there isn't anything that anyone else wants to talk about. As everyone looked at each other, and there was nothing. With that, the meeting was arranged. As everyone went their way. As Naruto made his way towards the tower, Navi said that she wished to speak with him. The moment he stepped inside, he was sent sailing back outside as he slammed right in the wall. Navi was standing there, her fist clenched in rage. Pissed off. Really pissed off. The fact that he didn't tell her that he was no longer a Jinchuriki, he decided to tell the entire council member without telling her first. Her eyes then snapped towards Jiraiya. He had to know about this. As the man leaped through the window, gone. As Naruto got up and brushed off himself like he wasn't even hit at all. Meanwhile, Danzo was fuming. The man was literally fuming. If you might look close, you would see the small whiffs of smoke coming from his ears. The man was pissed. As he remembered another blonde that always pulled one over on him. Minato. In his short period of serving, Minato was definitely not like the third. He was always check and perfectly had his mind capable to think. And Danzo couldn't get away with most, and now this brat was doing the same thing. And Danzo hated not getting his own way. Yes, he was furious, he was livid about it. He didn't like it one bit. And if he had anything to say about it, it wasn't going to stay this way. Yes, it wasn't going to stay this way at all if he had anything to say about it. He was Danzo Shimura. He's been here since the second Hokage reign, and he would not let a little upstart brat change anything on how we run things. Having another Jinchuriki in the village that has not been seen since a very long time, since Hoshirama captured all the bijous. There was even a Jinchuriki back then, so it was just show how rare it was. Not to mention he had no idea what he actually did to his own biju. The most powerful of them all, the nine-tailed fox. And the boy was keeping the information to himself by using cryptic, twisted words, saying that he was still a Jinjulke, but at the same time not. Who the hell did he think he is, Danzo thought to himself. He would not let this upstart punk get one over on him. Yes, it would not go this way, as Danzo assured himself about that. Time skip. Wow, said Fu. When Naruto told her his house was big, he was not over-exaggerating. As she looked at the massive compound, Fu stepped inside her eyes, looking around every corner. Wings sprouted from her back as she flew off. As Naruto laughed at that, he enjoyed her calm, sweet nature. She's a delightful one, isn't she? Said Haku. As she and Naruto were both locking arms as they walked. That she is, said Naruto. As Haku had a small blush on her face. I really miss having you here, she said. I miss being away from home, said Naruto. And I missed you as well. As he planted a quick kiss on her cheek that made her blush even more. As she looked down towards the ground. As her eyes then steeled as she looked back up. Why was she supposed to be nervous? This was Naruto after all. What we spoke about in the letter, she said. As a small smile came to Naruto's face. A rather perverted smile. As he looked at her up and down. Can't really get your hands on me, can you? She punched him gently in the shoulder, but her blush did not vanish. Or did she say anything against it? As Haku walked, she tugged on his arm. The both of them then turned into the corner as he stopped. I really missed you. As she leaned forward and kissed him this time right on the lips. Not wasting any time at all. As Naruto kissed her back, he really missed her as well. He missed all of them. But he missed Haku especially. She was the first one that he ever invited to become a part of the Uzumaki clan. She was the beginning. And he really missed her. All those times away from home, even though it helped a lot. The letters couldn't show how she's grown. And her beauty. They were just words. But seeing her here, as she melted down into the kiss, as Naruto wrapped his arms around her. Ahem, a voice said. The both of them turned as they broke the kiss. As they saw Teiwaya standing there, she narrowed her eyes before looking Naruto up and down, as she then turned towards Haku. We had a deal. What deal? Said Naruto. Oh, she knows, said Teiwaya. As Haku sighed. Well, there was this little game, saying which one of us would have you first when you return. As Naruto blinked at that. Really? He said. And I won. So what the hell do you think you're doing, said Teiwaya. As she walked over. You know, Blondie, she said, as she looked him up and down. Like the purple. As she was talking about the purple streaks in his hair. Never thought I would ever imagine you letting your grubby little hands on me. But I guess I warm up to the thought. Something which I'm happy for, said Naruto. Well, don't think I'm just gonna let you have me so easily. I mean, a bit of romance. Naruto blinked. You'd have never expected she'd say something like that. To show that you actually care, and you just don't want to get in my pants. I want, so I can take as long as I want. Got that? She said. She looked towards Haku. You know, that was just a dumb game. That was not a dumb game. That was a very difficult game. Wait. You've been on the road to that one for a long time. Did you full land it down? What's going on? No, said Naruto. As Fu smiled. Good. Because she's gonna probably be last. Given the fact that she came last. What are you guys talking about? As Naruto was about to say something, but Teiwaya beat into it. Sex. Fu looked curious at that. Oh. As she reached into her pouch and she pulled out the orange book. Where did you get that? Said Naruto. Jiraiya-sama gave it to me. He told me that there are certain things that I don't know about. Because of my condition. She said it in a way that Naruto didn't like. It was her growing up in Taki. The girl wasn't able to experience most things. That is why she acted the way she acted. She didn't know what was right or sometimes what was wrong. As they just treated her like someone who didn't have a personality or mind. I won't do that with Naruto-sama first, he said. Jiraiya-sama said that it would be good. He's perfect sage, said Naruto. And we'll get to that, Fu, he said. And besides, he took the book. You shouldn't be reading this garbage. He simply flicked his wrist as purple flames enveloped it. Fu didn't complain as she didn't mind. She didn't really understand that much either. As Fu walked over, "So, who's going first?" "Me, of course," said Taewon. "Remember what I told you?" "Oh yeah," said Fu as she stepped forward and kissed Taewon. As Naruto blinked at that. "Again?" As Fu broke apart. "Taewon already told me that she was a boss. I should listen to everything she say, and she doesn't mind when I kiss her. Unlike Tamari, who doesn't seem to like it that much," Fu said, a pout. A rather cute little pout. "Well, it's not that Tamari is weird, it's just that Taewon is weird," said Haku. "Really? I thought that she was a boss." "And I am the boss. Don't listen to her. She's just jealous that I won't kiss her." "Oh," said Fu. "Sorry about that. I can kiss you," she said. She walked forward. "No, it's fine," Haku said. As Naruto shrugged at that, he then paused. "Fu, you know you're not supposed to kiss anyone outside the clan, right?" "Of course I do," she said. "Just everyone inside." "Well, not really everyone," said Naruto. "Look, Taewon is the only one that wants you to do that. Unlike the others, she's been with a girl before. So just don't try to kiss anyone else outside the clan, okay?" As she nodded. "So when are we gonna start to make babies?" she said. As Naruto's sweat jumped at that. Her innocence was just so sweet. Time skip. "So," said Naruto as he stood in the training ground, "I figured that this would be the first thing. Have you spoken to Hinata yet?" said Naruto. "Yes, but not for long," Sasuke said. "Why do you ask?" "I thought the both of you had some catching up to do." "Why?" Sasuke asked. "We've been gone the same amount of time. A greeting here and there and that's good." "No reason. You know you've been acting strange towards me and her ever since I left the village." "I don't know what you're talking about," said Naruto. Sasuke shrugged it off. "Enough of that. 3 years ago you defeat me without much effort. Now, Kami," said Sasuke. "Not you too," said Naruto. "You know, despite what people think, I don't really like to be called Kami." "I just don't know why, but not really," said Naruto. "Well, maybe it's because you know you're not strong enough, and people will be disappointed once they see when I beat you," said Sasuke. As Naruto smirked, before he turned into a chuckle. "Alright then, fine. So you want me to hold back? I'll kill you," said Sasuke. As Naruto chuckled and raised his hand. Fine. You want me to go all serious then? Don't blame me if I hurt you. Well, I can't mend bones back together. So if a few or more than a few snap, it's on you." Sasuke pulled his blade. "I won't be holding back either. After all, given a name as Kami, you're supposed to be stronger than before. Let's see how far you've gotten." Sasuke moved. "In a battle, there is no warning," he said. "Seems you've learned a lot. More than just fighting," said Naruto. As Sasuke reached Naruto within seconds, his blade inches away from Naruto's neck as Naruto reached up. Sasuke's blade drive right into Naruto's hand. He actually stabbed Naruto's hand. As Sasuke realized his blade did not go inside because it was scraping on something. As Naruto's hand had turned a metallic color. He then brought his foot up. Sasuke blinked as he ducked. The air current above his head was whipped, his hair being blown back from the sheer force of the kick. As Naruto turned and brought his leg down, Sasuke leaped as Naruto's leg shattered the ground. A small motion and yet it destroyed the entire ground. Rubble, debris fly. Sasuke noticed debris turn purple. As they launched towards him, he twists and spins as he sliced them in half. He split and teared them apart. He quickly sent lightning down into his blade as he brought his blade up as a beam, smashed right into the blade. His lightning counteracting the effect of Naruto's eyes. Naruto's eye beams that were purple. As Sasuke was blown back, he flipped as he flipped on a tree. As Naruto hadn't even moved from his position, he still stood there. As he was not even looking around or being cautious. The next moment, Sasuke dropped from the heavens. As he just seemed to appear. Burst of speed perhaps. Flashing through a hand sign as he released several mini fireballs from his mouth. As they all came down before they separated and whisked past Naruto. Once they were behind him, they formed together and created a massive dragon, and Sasuke's hand was still in the ramp seal as he landed. The dragon roared as it swallowed Naruto. As the dragon was turned into smoke as Naruto simply stood there. His body not even showing a tremor of sweat or burn. Sasuke's eye twitched as he threw several shurikens towards Naruto that multiplied to hundreds. As Naruto raised his hands, a staff was created out of nothingness. Or was it? As he spun it, the force of the staff rotating at such high velocities blew away all the projectiles. As Sasuke had to jump back as the entire area got littered with them. Sasuke flashed through a few hand signs before he picked his blade and stabbed it in the ground. Arc of electricity tore through the actual earth, splitting itself towards Naruto, who simply stood there. Before he stooped down a bit and touched the ground, the entire surface changed as the electricity was counter-reacted and it vanished. As Naruto changed the substance of the ground, forcing electricity to go down instead of coming towards him. As Naruto stood up back with a smile on his face, unblemished and completely fine, Sasuke smirked as the blade was inches away from Naruto's back. The blade was about to stab right through him as Sasuke was not holding back. After all, Naruto should be able to react to it, right? Sasuke blade passed right through Naruto. Sasuke blinked. Was he too fast? Didn't he? Sasuke then noticed Naruto's back area. What the hell? As Naruto turned, Sasuke had to move with the blade until he had to release as Naruto turned fully. As Naruto reached and literally pulled the blade out of his stomach from the front, pulling the hilt right out of him. His stomach was purple like jelly, and it was globbing around. As Naruto tossed the blade back to Sasuke, Sasuke caught it and whips it right towards Naruto's throat, who reached up and blocked it with 2 fingers. Sasuke then twisted and he strike and slice from every area as Naruto used his 2 fingers and blocked every single strike that Sasuke sent his way. He just blocked them as his eyes were focused but a smile was on his face. Sasuke was determined as electricity started to sparkle, but yet it was not affecting Naruto. As Sasuke threw the blade up in the air before he jumped back and went through hand sign. Lightning release. Electric storm, he said as he shot a beam of lightning towards his blade that was used as a conductor. As lightning rained down towards Naruto's position, the entire ground was ripped and torn apart. As Sasuke jumped back and yanked the ninja wire that he had attached to his blade and caught in his hand. The smoke then cleared away. As Naruto stood there, completely unfazed, he still did not move. How? Said Sasuke. Come on, Sasuke. I told you to not hold back, and yet you're still. Sasuke blinked. How did you? Well, I can see it, said Naruto. So you're gonna fight for real or not? And you're not moving, Sasuke said. Alright then, fine, said Naruto as he stepped forward. I was just showing you my ultimate defense. You see, when I stay still like that, I can change my body molecules in different ways, so that I basically can be indestructible. But once I'm moving, you can probably hit me, said Naruto. That's if you're fast enough. As Sasuke smirked at that. The defense is quite powerful, but it must have some drawbacks. If an attack too powerful hits you, won't it move you? Well, I guess, said Naruto. So you ready? Sasuke said nothing. As his eyes gleamed, both of them shot forward. As Naruto created a black rod that slammed right against Sasuke's blade. A wave of pure electricity came out. It shredded trees around. It upturned the earth. Both of them jumped back as Sasuke speed through hand sign and released an inferno. A wall of inferno from his mouth as Naruto kicked forward. He twisted his leg in midair and brought it around. As water was whipped over his feet that he used to plummet right through the inferno fireball. As Naruto flipped over Sasuke's head, suddenly Sasuke saw the glinting as he ducked, a sword slicing off a few of his hair. As Naruto landed gently on the ground. As Naruto attacked him, Naruto had 8 swords in different positions over him. As Naruto spun, Sasuke could barely keep track as he was sliced across the arm. Blood gushed down as he twisted and shattered one of Naruto's blades, but the moment he did, it regrew. Sasuke couldn't even see properly because he was seeing 4 hands. It was like Naruto had 4 hands, but how was Sasuke twist as he dodged? Another slice across his torso as he jumped back, speeding through hand sign and released a massive electric field that seemed to gather on all sides like a wall, trapping Naruto inside as he slammed his hand together. The field of electricity erupted as Naruto burst right out of it and attacked Sasuke. A brutal kick launched Sasuke backwards as Naruto blades were coming at him. Suddenly the blades vanished out of nowhere as Sasuke felt something stab right in his arm. Sasuke looked down in agony as he was confused. Looking down, he saw the blade protruding out of his arm. But bam! Naruto's feet smashed in his face, launching him backwards. Sasuke rolled as he tucked and got back to his feet. He pulled out the blade as it didn't go so deep in his arm. As blood ran down, Sasuke flexed his fingers as he winced a bit, but he wasn't done yet as he shot forward. Both him and Naruto spin as a roundhouse kick was connected. The force rippled through the air as Naruto moved forward and grabbed Sasuke by the forehead. Sasuke twisted as he slammed his fist right into Naruto's stomach. Well, he tried as an iron grip was wrapped around his arm. As Naruto flipped him with only one arm, he slammed Sasuke in the ground before throwing him up in the air. In mid-air, Sasuke looked back down as he ran through hand sign. Sasuke's Sharingan spin to life as the entire area started to get moist. As Sasuke simply melted away, he was gone. As Naruto landed back on his feet. So, finally using your Sharingan, huh? Over to the side, Sasuke was patching up his arm with the medical kit that he had. As Naruto was caught in his genjutsu, standing there, Sasuke moved forward to end this as he pulled his blade. But the moment he was close enough, blam! A hard kick smashed into his stomach, knocking all the air out of his lungs. Sasuke was thrown as he crashed through several trees. Coming to an abrupt stop on the ground, he groaned in pain. He had to move as Naruto's feet destroyed the ground where his stomach was. As Naruto kept on stomping, Sasuke rolled out of the way. As Naruto flexed his fingers, a purple view came over them, and everything went white. Sasuke looked around, tried to peer through everything with his Sharingan. But several hard hits later and he was launched backwards. He brought his hand up to block his most vital areas. But he was forced into a boulder, and he was wrapped up tight. He was confused. Sasuke blinked as he looked around, as the boulder had arms that literally wrapped him tight. Where the hell Sasuke struggled out of it, but his lightning was ineffective on the boulder, and not to mention he couldn't even weave any hand signs. Sasuke forced himself back up with brute strength as he jumped a bit and smashed the boulder in the ground, breaking it. He got back up as he panted, as he felt something pressing up against his back. I must say, Sasuke, you've gotten faster, stronger as well. But why don't we end this right here, said Naruto, as Sasuke was surprised at his speed. Why? Well, this was just a test, said Naruto, and if we go a bit harder, I think we're gonna alert Konoha too much, making people worry, said Naruto. Sasuke was confused until he looked up. What the hell is that? Well, getting caught up too much in a fight. I tend to let my engine run rampant. Over the years, it has gotten so powerful that it literally started to affect the era when I fight, said Naruto. As Sasuke saw there was a ripple, as it was slowly disappearing into thin air. So, let's not cause too much attention, said Naruto. Sasuke let his guard down. As Naruto's hand rested on his shoulder, a purple glow came from Naruto's hand and flooded into Sasuke's body. All the wounds, even his torn clothes, was repaired. It seems like the clothes had returned back to what they previously was. The blood that had dripped from him had flew back into his body, and the wounds were sealed up immediately. As Naruto seemed to release a breath after that. Concept of healing that way is still a bit strenuous on me, said Naruto. Nothing too hard. As Sasuke realized that he didn't even injure Naruto once, and yet Naruto was so calm like he was barely even putting in effort. Sasuke dropped towards his butt, as he leaned back against a tree as Naruto sat down as well. What? Don't tell me you're jealous. With someone with your power, how could I not, Sasuke said. But I have to say, I'm not that jealous, he said. You work hard. Power comes to you well, but you do work for it. Not to mention, I didn't get my ass kicked like last time, when it was over just in seconds. Yeah, that's a big growth, said Naruto. I mean, you've gotten so faster. In no time, you'll be able to defeat Itachi and end this once and for all. Sasuke clenched his fist at that name. Although I have been thinking about what, Sasuke asked. Well, isn't it weird that Itachi just went from a Happy big brother to someone who just killed his entire clan? You know nothing about him, Sasuke said. He told me once he was leaving that was all a act. So don't try to justify his actions. Easy, said Naruto. I was just saying. Sasuke didn't say anything else after that, as he just leaned up against a tree, as he did not see Naruto slip something into his pocket. As he would know soon enough though. Oh, there you are, said a voice. As Hinata made her way known, she had a basket in her hand, as she smiled it too. Hinata, Sasuke said, the small blush on his face, as he quickly suppressed it though. As she smiled back at him and waved towards the door of him, she came over. As Naruto got up and stretched. Where are you going, she said. I just arrived. Sorry, said Naruto. You see, I have this meeting that I have to attend. What? Now? Sasuke narrowed his eyes. And you were the one that called me out here, she said. And told me to bring lunch. Yeah, sorry about that, said Naruto. We'll catch up some other time. Okay? As he smiled at her. Come on, he said. She smiled back. Alright, fine, she said. See you later. With that, he was gone. Sasuke blinked. Did he just teleport? So, wanna have lunch with me? Hinata asked. Yeah, sure. Sasuke moved as he heard a crunkle. He reached into his pocket as he pulled out a paper that said have fun. As he blinked a small blush came on his face. What's wrong? Hinata asked. Oh, it's nothing, Sasuke says. He rolled the paper. As Hinata set out the basket. Kinda brought a lot of food. Although, Naruto could make food, but still. I guess I was just... She shook her head. Don't really know. She even seemed to be a bit flustered. Are you okay? Yeah, she said. The trees around them seemed to bang as the place got dark. What the hell, Sasuke says. He looked over as the foliage seemed to fold around them. Birds landed on the nearby branches and started to sing a sweet melody. As a bright purple light seemed to just illuminate the entire place, giving them this wonderful setting. Have fun on the date, a voice said. As Sasuke snapped his head around. Was that Naruto? He had to activate her Byakugan as she could not see anyone nearby. Date? Sasuke said. As Hinata looked away bashfully. A small blush on her face. It all made sense now. Flashback to earlier. Bring lunch? Yeah, said Naruto. Hinata was about to ask him if he couldn't make lunch. After all, he could. Hey, said Naruto, cutting her off. Do you like Sasuke? He asked. Hinata's face turned red at that. What are you talking about? Yeah, of course, he's my teammate. No, not like that, said Naruto. I've noticed this weird interaction between you two. So I just don't know. If my little sister has a crush, said Naruto. She couldn't lie to him. Well, she did not say anything though. Why don't you come and meet me so we can talk more? And just catch up for the missing time, said Naruto. I'll be at Training Ground 3 later on. So bring lunch, he said. As she nodded, completely forgetting that he could actually make the food himself. Her mind was still reeling. She didn't know when it happened or how. But ever since that training session between the both of them, 3 years ago, she started to develop feelings for Sasuke and they just wouldn't go away. She actually liked him. But she never said anything about that because they were teammates and good friends. She didn't want to ruin anything. And with her confident boost, she was not blushing and acting like a shy mess around him. Something she was happy for, and she was glad that she had this boost of confidence now. It was kind of the same for Sasuke, who just shrugged it off at first. But ever since she didn't tell him about Itachi, and when she apologized and told him that she would always be by his side, he didn't know where these feelings came from, but they just wouldn't go away. And he's just been thinking about her more the past 3 years. Back to the present time, as the both of them stood there, as it was really awkward because neither of them knew what to say. As she decided to start talking, so, what have you been doing for the past 3 years? That was a more comfortable topic. Through the bird's eyes, as Naruto could see everything, as he blinked, and his vision returned back to normal. Sasuke was like this serious, yet a kind younger brother to him. Hinata was his younger sister. He didn't know why he saw himself as the older one, but he just did. And the both of them getting together, it was sweet. Hinata isn't shy anymore, and she's a bit more outstepping now. And Sasuke is shy when it comes towards romance. If anyone has not paid attention to that, he was a bit inverted, so this was good for him. And by the way, Sasuke wouldn't hurt her. And this will help Sasuke to focus on something else after what he's about to do. Despite him hating Itachi, he's the only blood family he's got left. And Naruto was also thinking about possibilities of something being wrong with Itachi. Perhaps the Sharingan make you go crazy one day. Well, Sasuke seemed to be level-headed and fine right now. But he just couldn't understand why would Itachi just lose like that, as he started to think about that recently. But it seems like he would not know until the time comes. Later that night, "And what did you do to the other girls?" said Naruto. Tell you why I chose to ignore that question of his. You aren't gonna answer me. I won the game that we played, so I'm first. Besides, I thought you could have attention for all of us and not just focus on one. And I can do that, said Naruto. But why haven't I seen any of the girls? Well, I guess you're just being good friends and giving me my time with you. You know? As Naruto chuckled, "What's so funny?" "Well, it's just that you really changed a lot. I was surprised to get that letter from you, saying that you wanted to be in a physical relationship with me. I guess you're really not shy about speaking what's on your mind. Why bother being shy? We're Kunoichis. We spend our life on the field, fighting, protecting, saving, not because of this new medical program. So, being shy is outdated," she said. "And I'm glad that you were all up for it. I never thought of having kids before. But I guess the other girls rub off on me. So yes, I want to help repopulate the Uzumaki clan. I think it's kind of my duty of being a Kunoichi of Uzu. So, what about me? There isn't any affection?" "Well, look at you," she said. "Stop being so modest." As Naruto simply laughed it off. "So," he said, "we had a wonderful dinner. Let's get down to the part of fully knowing each other before." She leaped towards him, as Naruto was taken aback. "Well, that's another thing. I'm not too slow-paced as the other girls. So let's not waste any time, okay?" As she started to kiss him. She didn't really want to have any kids yet. She just wanted to get busy with him. Blame the other girls. Their non-stop talking about him has got her really jumpy over the past couple of years, and she couldn't wait to see him. As she kind of missed his dumb, blonde hair, and his dumb whisker marks, and his cute little face, and damn it, as she just kissed him some more, relishing into the kiss. As Naruto leaned into it as well. Meanwhile, on the other side of the compound, as Fu pouted, "What's wrong, Fu?" asked Temari. "Don't tell me you're thinking about it again. Why does she have to be with Naruto first?" "She won a game." As Karen sighed. "Well, we're having a wonderful time here getting to know you and explaining some things to you about how things are set up and about personal space, and that you can't just go around kissing people. I believe we've been making a big breakthrough." Yes, I can't just kiss everyone. Even though you're a part of the same clan as I am. We're all gonna share Naruto-kun, so tell me, why can't I kiss you?" she said. "I mean, if you do kiss Naruto-kun, I would kiss him as well. So I'm confused." "That's not exactly how it works." "Well, it kind of is," said Temari. "But it's just, some girls really aren't into other girls, even though they are part of the same CRA act. You understand?" "Yeah, kind of. But Temari said that she wouldn't mind sharing, so why can't I be in here with her?" "Well, you're a smart girl. And not to mention you're at the right age, but you still lack a few certain things that you were never taught back in your home village. So we're gonna teach it to you before anything, okay?" "Wait, can I ask you something?" "Yeah, sure thing," Temari said. "Have you been with Naruto-kun already?" Temari blushed. "Yes. Answer her question," Karen said. Well, there was this time back at my home village, but..." She looked towards Karen. "No." As Fu looked at her. Karen felt a slight jump of Temari's shocker. "You're lying." "No, I'm not." "I know that you're lying. You can hide it well, but you're lying. Why won't you tell us what happened that day?" "Because I don't feel privy to tell you anything." Karen blinked. Where did Fu go?" As indeed Fu was gone. As she was sneaking away, As Fu stopped right at the door. "I'm bored," she said. "Can we at least go out and do something? Having been stuck in Taki our entire life, And getting this freedom, she didn't want to let it go. Well, we could go walk around the village. Yeah, said Fu. Let's go. Better than being stuck here. And with that, they made their way. Meanwhile, why, said Deidara. As the leader of the Akatsuki was in front of him, in a hologramic form. At the moment they were currently in the deserts, going towards the hidden sand. It is necessary. Outside forces might intervene. So do as you're told. Deidara simply shrugged. Well, he didn't really mind. As long as more people get to experience his art. Back at the hidden rain. Was this really necessary? Asked Pain as he looked towards Madara. Yes. The moment the Ichibai Jinchuriki is taken, they will send for reinforcement at the hidden leaf. Madara spoke with a bit of jovial in his tone, and I'm sure that Kame will make its way. As he glanced towards Nagato, knowing that Nagato didn't like to hear that, someone calling someone else God. And if he gets involved, I'm afraid there will be no extraction to happen. Is he really that strong, said Konan, as she was standing there as well. I've had Zetsu surveillance him over the past couple of weeks, near his return back to Konoha, and in the first year. And that was when he hasn't fully started his training yet. I saw him take on an A-rank criminal by himself, a missing name. He took him out in seconds. His abilities are nothing to scoff at, not to mention he has a speed that I'm not sure how he moves, or if he's simply teleporting, so I'm not going to chance it. Because if he's notified, he will be there and he will disrupt the extraction. Is that something you want? Or perhaps you want to leave your home now and fight him. Something I'm sure you not want to do at the moment, given that he's the last one we should go after. And know that he has a 7th tail in his position. Things are going to be really difficult. I've never heard you be concerned about anything before, said Konan. He's different, said Madara. There was something that he was not telling them. He actually met Naruto while Naruto was on his training trip. Something that made Obito realize that Naruto wasn't someone to trifle with. That is the main reason why Deidara was supposed to stay behind. He was supposed to use any precautions to stop any message from being relayed back to Konoha, so that he could extract the Ichibai and not worry about problems from outside sources. As he recalled what happened when he met with Naruto Uzumaki, that is now going by the name as Kame, it was a shocking reveal. But guys, it'll be instant right here. If you want the next person, do like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications to be posted. Remember, share to all of your friends and social media platform. But I'm on for now. See you guys soon. Peace out.